Hello everyone, welcome to episode 7 of the Front Page Podcast. With myself, Ross, I'm joined by Matt and Collie. Hello.
Hello everyone. Hello Ross.
It's good to be back, Ross.
Yeah. Today we're joined by smiling Sam Alvey, UFC light heavyweight. We're going to get him in a minute or two. That'll be a fun one. I'll try and add now actually, may as well, just get straight into it.
Yeah. I'll hopefully get some insight into how his training's going. A massive fight for him coming up against Shogun Rua.
Right, he's now been invited to the call.
There he is, that was quick.
Hello Sam.
Hi Sam.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. Thank you for coming on. It's going to be
my pleasure.
fun.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this one all week.
Good. Thank you for inviting me on.
We'll get straight into it then. Obviously, just had a big fight announced down in Brazil against a legend, Shogun Rua. What was that like, getting that fight offer? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, man, I was not expecting that. I don't know if you guys know or not, but I haven't been doing so hot lately. And to be offered not only a ranked fighter, but a legend like him is just something else. And all my friends and fans, I'm probably going to be a big underdog. So I'm going to work my ass off and try and make it up to you guys. So in the betting rooms, you guys will walk away with a lot of money.
Was the kind of fight that, it'll get you up more than anything else. Extra determination.
Oh, it absolutely has. It's gotten me excited. It's got me jazzed. It's a fight. I win this fight, and it's gonna be the rebirth of Smiling Sam.
Yeah, it's not the first time you fought a Brazilian opponent in Brazil. What was that like the first time? How are the fans since fighting in a hostile environment?
I love fans, whether they love me or not. And they definitely did not love me. When I fought Cesar, they were not big fans. However, I knocked Cesar out. They were cheering me on the way out. They thought it was just awesome. I love fans when they get into it. So sometimes I'll fight place and the fans just aren't into the fight. Brazil is into that fight. I'm sure they all chant "Viol Moher, you're gonna die" as I walk in. But they're into it. It's going to be so exciting. And then on the co-main event, these fans are going to be. It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud. I'm going to be thrilled.
I'm getting excited for it now as well, and I'm not even taking part.
Well, you got to chant from home. I'll hear it.
We will do.
I don't think I'll be happy chanting that you're going to die when you've been so kind to come on our show. But yeah, we'll be backing you as we do our guests. We back our guests.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been a big fan of yours anyway, Sam. So I was behind you anyway before you came on the podcast. So it does make a difference to me.
Your nose is ever so slightly more brown now, there, Ross.
Hey, it's okay. I love it.
No, genuinely. Obviously, I respect all the guests we've had on, but I've enjoyed following your Sam. I've enjoyed following your career, so it's a good one for me.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed my career so far.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously you've fought nearly 50 times already, and obviously you're still relatively young. So how far do you think you can go in the game? How long are you going to be doing this for?
Well, the short answer is a lot longer, because I always, my professional record is I'm about 50, but my overall record with the Muay Thai in amateur, I'm like closer to 70. I've been fighting I've been fighting not that long, but I've been fighting a lot, and I love it. So I hope to get another 50 fights if I can, and God willing, my body holds up, and I keep winning.
You fought so many times. I think you're tied at the top for the most amount of UFC fights in 1 year. You fought 6 times in that 1 year. How was that like? What was your sort of training camps and so on? How were they affected with such a tight schedule?
It was great, and I said I'm tied per year with 6 fights. I'm tied with Cerrone, but I got there 2 months faster than he did. If I didn't break my ankle before that fight number 6, I would have beaten him. I would have taken the title for myself. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get that number 7. But yeah, like I said, my body started breaking down. It was a lot of camps. It was a lot of stress I was putting on myself, and I held up as best I could. It just wasn't quite enough to get the record all to myself.
Do you think it affected performances, or?
I won almost all those, so I hope. I mean, I hope it must have done a little bit. It must have helped me. So
you should try to do it again.
I try to. Even now, I try to be more active than everyone else. I love training. I love fighting. So I try and be in that octagon as much as I can.
So, have you begun training yet for Shogun Rua? How's the training look like so far?
It's been wonderful. I've had a lot of training partners. Actually, one of my good training partners, Dom Reyes, he headlines the UFC this Friday. He's been one of my main guys. Been doing a lot of work with Mark Munoz and Jamal Pogus. And then Hendo. I mean, Hendo's fought him twice, beat him twice, and Hendo's been in that room every day helping me. So it's turning out to be a real good camp with a lot of good guys beating me up.
That's incredible people to be training with when on a daily basis. Unbeaten Reyes, isn't he? And obviously we don't have to say anything about Hendo. A legend of the sport, isn't he? It must be great to be around those guys.
He's so humbling because he's like, I don't know, 73 or something, and he still comes into that room and picks me up.
So what's that like training with Dan Henderson every day? Do you learn new things from him all the time?
Yeah, you can't keep that guy quiet. He just knows a little bit about everything, so he always wants to make sure he knows a little bit about everything. And it's very useful because he really truly does know a little bit about everything. Actually, he knows a lot of it about everything. He's one of those guys. He's so valuable to everyone in the room. I'm truly blessed to have him in my corner.
He's been around the block once or twice, hasn't he? I suppose.
Yeah, once or twice.
So if it came to it, you and Dom are in the same division. Would you fight against each other if that's the way the rankings went?
This will be the answer. That's like the headline. Sam Alvey says he would fight teammate. I have always said I have always been a big fan of fighting people I like, because me and whoever I fight, we're gonna make a bunch of money that night. I would much rather it be someone I admire, someone I train with, someone I like. So I would fight him. Now, I'm going to duck him for as long as possible because I do train with him a lot, and I don't like the outcome of that fight. But so I may duck him for a bit. I may come down with that phantom injury if ever the fight gets lined up. But I really am. I'm a fan of Dom, and I would love to make him some money someday.
Yeah, I think I kind of, from my point of view, obviously not in a stable, I'm not a fighter or whatever, but I kind of think it, if you see it as a sport and so when you're competing against someone you've got great respect for, it's not, it's just because you're fighting against them doesn't mean you have to have any animosity towards them or them towards you. You know what I mean? It's kind of, so I always find it a bit funny when some guys will refuse to fight against each other, even if it means they may not get closer to the title or they may not get, the opportunities that would come with taking the fight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I understand why people wouldn't want to take the fight, because, good friends, good this, good that, and if it happens, it happens. I think I would be on the side of, you guys, I'm going to be your best friend before and your best friend after, but for 15 minutes, we're going to try and kill each other.
So back to the Shogun fight, obviously he's got great kind of Muay Thai background, he's good all round as well, but what's your sort of game plan for facing someone like Shogun, who's great on the feet, but also very well versed on the ground as well?
Yeah, I don't want to expect anything. I expected something out of Nogueira, and he caught me a little bit. He caught me a little flat-footed, he caught me a little off guard, so I'm really looking at this more like when I'm fighting, training, sparring with Dan Henderson, as these guys have fought the best in the world. They've beaten the best in the world. I have to make sure they can't. I don't need to be a better fighter forever. I need to be a better fighter that night. So I'm going to make sure I'm the better fighter that night. I'm going to fight him. I'm not going to try and outpoint him. I'm not going to try and implement, the game plan that's going to work I'm going to try and beat him up. That is going to be my goal, and it's going to happen.
So you're looking to have it finish inside the 15?
Absolutely. It's been too long since I've gotten a knockout, and I need to put a stamp on this fight.
I mean, that would
Actually,
be something to have as your like a trophy in your highlight reel when you look back
yeah.
you've knocked out Shogun Rua, Pride GP champion, and former UFC champion. It would be unreal.
Oh, I'm looking forward to getting that stamp on my bookcase. It's just, he's one of those names that people will forever know. He'll be in the UFC Hall of Fame if ever he retires, and he's as good as they get. And when I get that knockout, it's gonna be feather in my hat forever.
Sorry, Ross, I think I interrupted one of your questions, and I've done it again. But go ahead, go ahead with yours.
Assuming you do beat Shogun, where do you think that puts you next? Where do you see yourself going, like, after Shogun? I know it's hard to look past the fight at times, but ideally, who would you kind of look to fight next? Do you have anyone in mind?
Oh, I'm going to have a call out, but I don't know who it's going to be just yet. I usually, the week of the fight, I'll start looking at who's in the division, who's fighting next. I try and make it a well-educated, good call out, because I get them sometimes. But I can tell you who's on my long range. Anthony Smith called me out a while back, and I couldn't answer. I was in the middle of adopting a baby, and I couldn't get a fight camp together at the time. Now I know he's gone on to bigger and greater things than I've ever gotten close to, but he and our paths will cross someday. I don't know when, but whoever I fight next is going to get me closer to Anthony Smith.
Obviously, the fighting is very important, but you've just mentioned something a million times more important. So how's that going with your kids?
Oh, it's wonderful. I've got 5 kids now. I'm a foster daddy, trying to adopt, and it's a very magical time in the Alvey household.
Yeah,
I take it that's far more rewarding than MMA accomplishments.
Oh, definitely. People are going to forget. I mean, if I were to retire tomorrow from MMA, people would forget me within the week. But these kids, they'll be part of me for all of time.
Pretty harsh on yourself there, I think.
It's a sport, and if the internet has taught me anything, the internet's such a bad place. people are really looking forward to you failing, and my kids will never look forward to me failing. They will be in my corner. I will be in their corner for all of time.
So back to the we would always like to have a little bit of a chat about like the previous career, like your early days and that kind of stuff. And we just ask our guests how did you get into MMA? I know you were a wrestler in college, or high school.
Yeah, I stumbled into MMA. I never watched it. I didn't know anything about it. I don't think I ever saw Randy Couture fight until after he was retired. I mean, I didn't know anything about it. When you say I wrestled in college, I did, but it was like I was a good B team wrestler. I kind of wrestled because I liked the sport. I was never a wrestler. I was a good practice dummy for the other guys. No, I just stumbled into the sport. Somebody asked if I wanted to fight. I said, sure. And then they asked if I wanted to do it again. I said, hell yeah. And then eventually they offered to pay me if I fought for them. I said, oh, that sounds great. Let's do it. And now I'm in the UFC. I was probably 7-1 or 8-1 as a professional before I learned there was a UFC.
So all of those early fights were just in your local area, weren't they? It was like you had quite a big record before.
I was born and raised in Wisconsin, so I just did everything in Wisconsin, Illinois, anywhere somebody offered me. I think I fought in Trinidad once when I was young, when I was still in Wisconsin. But yeah, basically I just traveled Wisconsin. So I sold a bunch of tickets, and so everybody wanted me on. And then I'd go and I'd win, and it was great.
So you've done so many fights in so many different places, and does anywhere stick out? And you just mentioned you fought in Trinidad, which I've never even heard of, the Caribbean Ultimate Fist Fighting promotion until I started to read about you a bit more. And then you fought in Mexico, New Zealand, Brazil, Canada, Australia, all over the world, Poland as well. I think. Did any of those places stand out more than others?
Tell you, my favorite place in the world to fight was Mexico City. I fought there twice, and I just loved it. The crowd was into it. The hotel we stayed at, the UFC had us at, it was a brilliant hotel. The fans were just something else. Mexico City's been my favorite place to fight. Love the elevation. I love everything about it. But I honestly, when I first started fighting, I'd fight everywhere because I didn't make any money. You didn't make any money fighting. It's my amateurs now, or my newly turned pros, they complain about making like $1,000 to show, $1,000 to win. I was fighting for like $200 flat. It's like I would get gas money to get there. But I would get gas money to get there, so I got to see places. I got to see all of Wisconsin. I got to go to Trinidad. When I fought in Trinidad, I had to pay for my corner to get there. I think I fought for, I got a plane ticket, but I had to fly my corner there, and I got a hotel while I was there, and I think I fought for $600. I mean, I made no money, but I got to go to Trinidad. When I fought in New Zealand, same deal. I had to pay for my corner to get there, but I got to go to New Zealand. So I've seen so much of this of our world, of our planet, of people from every culture. I've just been truly blessed with that. So I take a little bit from everywhere I go.
Yeah, I suppose we'd like you. I think looking, you've only fought in Europe once. What's wrong with us? Come over and fight in the UK if you can.
Man, I tried. I was trying to fight on Dan Henderson's retirement fight. I petitioned hard. I was trying to get the fans involved. They wouldn't have me do it. And the one time I fought in Europe, in Poland there, that was 10 days notice. I wasn't even supposed to have done that.
I think about your Mexico City, and you love it so much. The fans are great. They're having a little bit of, I guess they didn't show themselves in the perfect light recently with Stevens against Rodriguez, if I can put it in that way. Just,
Oh, they threw beer or something on one of them.
Yeah, they were back in their hometown fight, so I think they thought Stevens was trying to get himself out of the fight, which is complete nonsense, obviously, when you talk about someone like him. But
they've got dickheads everywhere in the world. I'm not going to let one dickhead ruin the experience for the whole country, whole city.
But they're so passionate. I suppose that even if it is a bad side of it, it just shows how passionate they are for the sport. If you can take a positive from it.
Yeah, absolutely, and they really are. Brazil is comparable with how passionate they were of it, but Brazil's way more. They're rooting for Brazil. Mm-hmm. Mexico, and they're rooting really hard, so it's a lot of fun. But Mexico is more. They were rooting for. They just love the sport.
They want to see some people get knocked out.
They sure did.
Talking about sort of the Brazilian fans and stuff, you're one of the, I said it kind of earlier on, you're one of the sort of good guys in MMA. You don't seem to have a bad bone in your body, but when you go to like somewhere like Brazil fighting a Brazilian guy, do you enjoy kind of being the bad guy for a brief amount of time?
I'll be the good guy by the end of the fight. They can boo me, but they're booing me. I've been put in a place where they get the opportunity to boo me, so they really like me, whether they want to cheer or boo.
I suppose the Brazilian fans, especially, if they might boo you and say that your death is impending. But if you knock someone out or you put in a good performance, then you've earned their respect, and that's that then, isn't it? They'll boo you the next time you're there, but they'll respect you after you win.
That was my first experience down in Brazil. I knocked Cesar out, and they loved me for it.
So one thing I was going to ask, I actually, even though I said I've been following your career for a while, somehow I completely missed the fact that you used to fight at welterweight, and that was when you fought an Ultimate Fighter. So what was that like in Ultimate Fighter? What was it like getting the call to be on the show? And was there any pressure knowing that this is a massive opportunity to get back in the UFC?
Yeah, well, it was before I was ever in the UFC, and so that's the only reason that's the only reason I went to 170, because I'm not a 170 fighter. But the UFC called and they said, "Hey, can you do it?" And I said, "Oh, okay, I'll do it." And it was bad, and it was a short notice too. It was it was 40 pounds in 29 days is what I had to lose, and I did it twice, but it was rough. I felt so bad afterwards.
It's the kind of thing that gets you a lot of brownie points with the organisation, though, I imagine.
I would have hoped so, but then they didn't sign me afterwards. Yeah, but I got back. I fought up in the MFC for a while. and did real well up there. And then I got back to the UFC, and they seem to like me all right now.
Yeah, so you're 205 now, and you have been for your last sort of 5 fights or so. But do you prefer 185 or 205? Is that, is it 205 something that's become necessary now, or?
No, I've really noticed no difference other than my camp is easier at 205. I get to relax a little bit on the diet. I get to lift the whole camp. When I go to 85, I can't lift. If I lift, I don't lose weight, and I just can't do it. So 205, it's a much easier camp, but the fight's about the same. The athletes are just as talented at 205 as they are at 85. Shoot, half the 85ers have come up to 205 now.
Yeah. It's trying to really stack him with former 185ers. Obviously, you mentioned Friday. Reyes is fighting one of them, isn't he?
Yep. This is his first one. The main event of my fight is Jacare. It's his first time back up at 205. So yeah, the studs at 85 are coming up.
I just imagine the fans in that event are going to be insane. Shogun's on there, Jacare's on there.
Oh,
they're going to, yeah. So sorry to go back again, but the fans are going to be absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah, the fans are going to go. They're going to be crazy all night. I can't wait.
So Ross, you've got a specific question you'd like to ask our guests, if you want to pop that one out now.
Oh, the traditional one.
The traditional question, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Sam, we've got a running theme going that each guest we have one. We ask about one funny weight cut story. Funny, interesting. Just a weight cut that you saw from yourself or someone in the gym. You don't have to name names, but just a funny weight cut you've experienced or seen.
Yeah, so actually we'll go back down to Trinidad then. So Trinidad, I was fighting 185, 205? 185, I'm pretty sure. And I called ahead, said, hey, you guys have a sauna? You guys have, it'll be good. They said, oh yeah, we have a sauna. I said, okay, cool. So I got there, and you get there like a day before weigh-in, so you're not there for very long. So we go to check out the sauna, and they had a sauna. It was just in pieces and not working. It looks like it hasn't worked in years. It was just a the room was filled with the motor, the heating stuff. So, oh my God. So it was, my wife held a timer for me, and I ran around the parking lot for like 6 hours. It was just, all right, Russ, sprint. And I'd sprint. All right, jogging, sprint. And it was in the Caribbean, so you'd think it would be warm, but it wasn't. It was like perfect out. There was a nice breeze. The sun was kind of shining. There was some clouds. A good 75 degrees. So it was just terrible. It was the first and only time I've ever run to lose weight like that. And I made weight, but it took forever, and it was really not enjoyable.
So they really, sometimes I suppose, did that affect your fight night, do you think, or was it?
No, I don't think so. I went out there and I won pretty handedly. I don't remember if I finished him or not. It was either
decision unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay, there you go. I believe I dropped him once or twice, but yeah, didn't get the finish. But so yeah, sure. Let's blame not getting the finish on
terrible weight cut.
The weight cut.
One thing I was going to ask you, you've got a fair few knockouts in your record, and it's something that Bisping said, especially referring to when he knocked out Rockhold, if I can speak. So Bisping said when you connect with a shot that's going to knock someone out, you just know, like, it feels different. Is that something you can relate to? Is that something you've experienced?
Yeah, you feel it. Like you'll see Mark Hunt do it. I've done it a couple times. You see, actually you don't see Hendo do it. Hendo always follows up. But that walk feeling.
Talking about Bisping.
Yeah, or when Hendo knocked out Lombard, or anytime Hendo knocks somebody out, he tries to he doesn't like that walk off, I don't think. But
no.
Yeah, it's something you feel your fist lands on that face, and you just kind of feel their soul leave for a second, and you just know before they hit the ground that they're not getting back up, and it's really a cool feeling.
The main one actually did that, I cannot say his name for life. Marcin Pracino.
Yeah, Pracino.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my last one, my most recent one that I've done, where I just hit him, and I knew he wasn't getting back up.
Yeah, I remember that one. You just stood and kind of looked over him, like, referee, can you come in and get this man off me.
Yeah. And actually, my fight to get on the Ultimate Fighter was like that. I threw one punch and it landed, and he just fell over. Fell over.
Well, one of the knockouts you got on Ultimate Fighter was against Leo Kuntz. He's a good friend of ours on Twitter, so I don't want to say anything negative about him, but
no, I'm
that was
not
one of
saying
my favourite knockouts of yours.
You seem like a good
No,
dude.
I'm saying myself, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to rub it
you
into him that he's that he got absolutely sparked, basically.
All I was saying was, like, that's one of my favourite knockouts of yours on Ultimate Fighter. That was another kind of one where you could tell that you knew that the fight was over at that point. You just stood and looked at him on the canvas.
Yeah. And Bisping says it best. He said you just kind of, you feel it. You feel his soul leave, and then he falls over. I hope to get here in a few weeks.
Yeah, well, that would be incredible. Yeah.
It would be, wouldn't it?
I can't imagine the noise. I imagine the loudest place with all those fans. I imagine it would go silent for just a few seconds, you know. And then
I won't in about 4 weeks. I won't have to imagine it. I'll experience it.
Oh, I hope so, because it'll be incredible. And just to put the scales balance on a bit for Leo, you know, we'll give him a shout out because he won was it his pro boxing debut last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got something like a second or third round knockout or throw in the towel anyway. So.
Oh, cool! Yeah, congratulations on that. He actually made it back to the UFC before I did.
Yeah, he's got quite an impressive record, hasn't he? You know, it's like 17-4 or something like that. He was.
I'm glad I caught him on that night, because maybe I couldn't have if I caught him on another night.
Sam, I can't talk to you without referring to the smiling. So, where or who gave you the idea to shave a smiley face into the back of your head when you fight?
That's all me. You know what it started off as was I had a barber, and actually again back to the Ultimate Fighter, I had a barber who could have. I mean, he shaved Yoda. I had him shave Yoda into the back of my head.
Nice.
I think it's still my Twitter handle. It's a picture of the back of my head, and it's got Yoda. I mean, it's like better than an artwork, better than a picture. And he used to do something fun like that every fight. Well, he moved away, and now I don't have a sketch artist, someone that can do something like that. But you can still make a smiley face, because that's just, you know, two eyes and a grin. So it took me a few barbers till I found somebody that was willing to try, and now he does it every time. And Nathan Ross of Stu's Barbershop here in Cal Oaks in California. He every fight he puts on my war paint.
So how early on in your career did you get the nickname?
I was still in Wisconsin. It would have been, I don't know, a few fights, 5 or 6 fights professionally when it came up. I think it was my dad who said it first, but I really don't remember.
I like it. It's a nice one. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I know it can be kind of, you know, there's like a juxtaposition with the sport that you're in, where you're trying to knock someone out, but you know, at the same time it kind of sums you up. Yeah,
I get the question. Hey, does he really smile that much? I really do. I love what I do, and I couldn't stop myself from smiling.
It's just funny, guys. Like nicknames like Pitbull, like Sledgehammer, then smiling.
You'll get. I mean, if you look at the card, you get the Assassin or the Shark Tooth or just super obviously manly names. You get those everywhere.
They're not the natural ones, are they?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Really yeah.
You kind of have the duplicates. I can't remember what card it was as well. There was not that long ago, only a few months. There was 2 fighters at the same nickname, and so it kind of, you know, those sort of manufactured. Put your name in and see what your UFC fighter name is going to be.
Yeah,
kind of nicknames they can clash sometimes.
There are a million fighters in the world, and you've got everything you can do to make yourself stand out a little bit more.
You've done that, right?
It turns out I have. I didn't mean to at the beginning, but now all my amateurs, I try and get them to adopt something that's real memorable.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about is kind of off topic for the moment, but I know you when you were younger, and kind of grown up, you're a big fan of professional wrestling, like WWE, and you appeared on the Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge it's called, sorry.
Yeah.
With like so many injuries, like that was crazy. It's one of the hardest challenges, and you're going injured.
Yeah. Well, I fought Kevin Casey. I was like 2 days before I was on the show. I was up in Vancouver, Canada. I fought Kevin Casey. I beat Kevin Casey. My wife had just given birth to either my first or second kid, and so I flew her back to Wisconsin. Then I got right back on. I mean, I had like an hour layover in Wisconsin. I got right back on a plane, and then the show flew me to L.A. And then I got off the plane. I did the show. I beat the show, so I beat everyone on the show, so I got to come back the next day and fight their champion. Their champion wiped the floor with me. By fight, I mean I had to run an obstacle course.
Yeah.
I think his record was like 5 minutes or something. I think I failed the obstacle course at like 23 minutes. It wasn't even close. But in that Kevin Casey fight, I broke my toe and my thumb. And here's a funny thing. So I turned 30 2 days before I fought Kevin Casey. Turned 30, fought Kevin Casey, went on the show. Turned 30, fought Kevin Casey. I got freaking hemorrhoids. Like 3 days. Turned 30, got hemorrhoids. Like, god dang it. So did the show with broken foot, broken thumb, and hemorrhoids.
Do you think if there was a Sam Alvey without hemorrhoids or broken bones would have been better in the final challenge?
I would have finished the challenge. No chance that I beat that guy's record though. That guy was, yeah. That
you
guy
just don't know how many minutes you lose for a bad grape, do you? You just don't know how many.
Yeah. Well, I got to talk to their champion.
Was it fun to be there
afterwards? And their champion, I don't remember that guy's name, but he was a professional obstacle course runner. So he just goes around the world running obstacle courses, and he beats them, and they pay him a bunch of money. And so there's no chance, no prayer that I ever beat him. But I was still pretty proud that I beat 3 of their super athletes.
You won the show. I mean,
yeah. I won the show to get the opportunity to fight their champion. And you should watch the show. It's a fun show. The Broken Skull Challenge.
I do think we have it on TV in Britain, actually. I think it's on Dave or something like that, isn't it? We actually have a channel called Dave, which is,
Yeah, I think it's on Dave.
Kind of British.
I had never seen the show prior to me being on it, but afterwards I've watched it a couple times. It's a fun show.
What was it like? Was you were into the wrestling? Was Steve Austin one of your?
Well,
everyone loves to say heroes, but
everyone loves Stone Cold. So I mean, he was. I mean, everyone loves him. But I've always been team The Rock. The Rock's the greatest it's ever been, and he's the best it's ever been. And so that's to this day, if the only thing that could get me out of fighting is if the WWF were to offer me a contract, or WWE, excuse me now.
Well, you're taking some more and more MMA guys are going over there, aren't they? Doing.
Yeah, Velasquez just went over there. Ronda's been over there for a minute. It all started with Ken Shamrock. Shamrock was over there years and years ago. Most dangerous man in the world.
So who knows? Where your career takes you.
If I play my cards right, I'm gonna get over there.
Look forward to your heel turn. Probably if you can make it believable.
Yeah, if I did a heel turn, it'd be like when Kurt Angle turns heel, where he's kind of a heel, kinda.
Yeah, so that'd be quite cool. Yeah. I've never been, not since I was a kid, and the kind of thinking like I would be one of those really annoying fans who would ask Steve Austin to do a stunner on me or something. And he'd probably just tell me to F off, and it's kind of that's what I remember from wrestling when I was 12. Yeah.
So speaking of kind of wrestling, it's official that The Rock is going to be at MSG to put the belt on the winner of the BMF title fight. How do you feel about that? Because I know there's been a lot of people outspoken saying that it's a joke and all that sort of thing, but how do you feel about that, Sam?
I love the fight. I love that they're going to call themselves the BMF champ. I absolutely hate the idea that there's going to be an actual belt. I think that cheapens the sport so much. And
Ross,
I love WWE. I love WWE. They just make a title to make a title. Say, oh, you're now the new, intercontinental tag team. Blah blah blah. They just make, and this calling yourself, just saying is the BMF. The baddest. That would have been awesome. And just I'm the baddest mother. But putting an actual belt on the line, oh, that's so dumb.
Yeah, I would like to say that we have Ross and I have a different opinion on this in terms of I am exactly the same as you, but Ross loves it.
I think I love it because I'm going. I want to love everything about the event because I'm going to be there.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, are you going, Sam? Do you plan on going?
Is it in Vegas?
New York.
New York. Then no, I'm not going to be there.
But I'm just looking forward to Darren Till representing the Scousers here and getting his first win at middleweight.
Oh, he's fighting. Oh, bro, he's fighting Gaslam. I'm looking forward to his first win as middleweight too, but I don't know it's going to be against Gaslam.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough fight for Till. He's crazy, in my opinion. I mean, he might prove us all wrong, but that's a tough fight to take.
The size of him, I'm worried he's not going to make weight. He's absolutely humongous at the minute. He must be 220, just walking around. He's absolutely huge. The muscles on him, but yeah, he's from. I live in Liverpool. He's from Liverpool. We support our boys wherever we can.
When I fought in Poland, he beat up Cowboy.
Yeah,
I got to meet him a little bit. Super nice guy. Really enjoyed him. I'm always rooting for him. But this is a bad fight for him. Hopefully I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever met Gaslam, but I think this could be a rough fight for Till.
It could be a war. I kind of hope it is, but with my guy on the winning end of it.
Winning end. I could see it being good. I could see it being a good fight either way.
It's a risk. It's definitely a risk, and he knows it, which is kind of good. At the same, he knows it's not going to be. He knows he's not going to just run through him. He knows it's going to be a tough fight. So at least he's got his head screwed on a bit for it. So
yeah.
And also repping the Scousers back to Boston. We've got Molly on Friday as well. So just while we're on the cast, this will be the only one I think before the event. So hopefully we have another Scouse win on Friday as well with Molly McCann. Yeah. She should win that. Good. She should win that.
Who's she fighting?
I can't even remember her name, which is really bad. But
well, I'm rooting for Molly.
Yeah, we like Molly. She's down to earth, and she's as we all are in our humble little city.
Yeah good.
I'm just waiting for a fight up in Glasgow to rear his head and pop into the octagon. Maybe waiting a while. The fighting happens in the streets. Yeah.
So shall we call it there, Ross? Shall we let Sam go back to his life? Unless you've got any other questions.
Yeah, I've got one more before we let Sam go back to his life. So I wanted to ask is, looking back on your quite long career already, if you could pinpoint one moment that's the high point that you look back on with like the fondest memories, what would it be?
The fondest memory. When I knocked out Cesar, I won the fight of the night, knockout of the night bonus, and that's a pretty fond memory. It's hard to top. It's hard to top winning an extra $50,000.
I could imagine.
I got a lot of good memories, but that $50,000 check I got, that's real close to the top of my list.
Well, hopefully we've got another one coming your way in November.
I've been trying ever since, and I got nothing to lose this fight, so I'm gonna put it all on the line.
Yeah, well, Sam, thank you so much for taking time today to come have a chat with us. Hopefully, once you beat Shogun, we'll get you in again. Have another chat.
That sounds great. Count me in, guys.
Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, and just thanks so much for coming on, and the best of luck next month. I'm sure you won't need it.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate
it. Well, cheers again, Sam. Speak to you soon.
Catch you later, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was a really fun one. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Really is a good guy.
Could have been more humble. He was so humble. He was like, people forget me in a week. Other things he said as well. I was like, what? That's not hear these things from a fighter usually.
It's like, I would fight my teammate, but I probably would avoid it because he'll batter me. Basically.
Things like that. Like, wow.
He's got, realistic, I suppose. And I don't. He's overly realistic.
Yeah.
Kind of like it almost comes across as though it's not like he doesn't have belief in himself, but he knows his limitations, I guess, and what would suit him and what would be the best fight for him to take, and that kind of, the opportunities. If Dom was the champion, I'm sure he would jump at the chance because it's a fight of that magnitude. You know what I mean?
But that's one thing I'm really looking forward to now. I was beforehand, but even after I spoke to the guy, you can't help but get more excited for it.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to root against a legend like Rua, but I mean especially watching all of his old Pride fights, it's just such a great legend of the sport. But it's even harder to go against Sam when you talk to him, and he's such a nice guy. And this is it's almost like this fight for Sam is his career in one fight.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean, it's like if Sam wins that fight, then that makes his career almost, and it'll be the biggest individual sporting moment of his career, I imagine.
You couldn't get much bigger than beating Shogun in front of a Brazilian crowd.
Yeah, and then not to disrespect Sam, but if he was to lose the fight, it'd be another fighter on Shogun's list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a great guy, lovely guy, and I really hope we get to have him back on as a winner in that fight, because
100%.
It's really nice talking to him, and if he probably never listened to this anyway, but if he does, genuine heartfelt thanks for coming on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we're running about 40 minutes now, so if we can kind of gloss over the main stories this week.
Yeah, well, there was an absolute jam-packed weekend.
Oh yes.
Full of awesomeness and knockouts and knees to the face and submissions and it was just so many events, and pretty much all of them were great. Tampa Bay had, it was a much deeper card than people were expecting it to be, and we may as well start with it because UFC is the biggest name.
Nico Price, can we start there? Nico Price.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Poor James Vick.
I feel bad for James Vick. I know he's made some kind of stupid comments in the past and whatever, but I don't see why people wish to see him get knocked out so bad. I mean, he doesn't seem like a terrible guy.
I don't know. I think when you get people's back up in the first place, it's very hard to turn it round, especially if then you go on a losing streak and you're not putting on performances to win the fans round necessarily. And he's just got that. He just can't help sticking his chin out. It's like the first few seconds of the fight, Nico Price landed an absolutely flush punch straight to his chin, and it's like, well, you're not going to learn. And then you get on top of him, and Nico's flailing his feet everywhere, and you're just trying to grab his feet instead of covering up a bit. And, it's not a surprise that you took a heel into your jawbone.
Well, one thing about my one gripe with Nico Price is that he agreed to come on our podcast way back at the very beginning, and if he keeps knocking people out, he'll reach a level of superstardom that
we can't get him anymore.
Yeah. So
he's only on a one-fight streak.
Yeah, but he's gaining fans at a massive rate. Like, he did lose his last fight, but still, he's only a great
fight. It was a great fight. Isn't it a case that it was? What didn't Jeff also agree to come on?
He did. No, I don't think he did. He follows the page, but I don't think he said he'd come on the podcast though.
Okay, fair enough. I'll let him off. But that was a great fight anyway. But
double knockdown as well in that fight. Crazy. It was like Step Brothers, where they both hit the swing like the golf club and the baseball bat.
Yeah, well, let's not lower the conversation that much. I'm only kidding. That film's hilarious. But Nico Price did exactly what he was supposed to do, and we've seen a lot of people talking about how good he is, and how dangerous he must be from the bottom and everything. And I think people are getting it a little bit mixed up with Tony Ferguson, who's probably the most dangerous man off his back, and it's not about. I think people are mostly saying that no one else can knock out people from their back as much as Nico Price seems to have the potential to do. Plenty of people have done it once. I think even Ferguson's done it once, but I don't think I can't think of anyone who's done it twice.
No, I mean that Randy Brown finish, the first one that kind of really got people's attention. Like that, has that have been done before, like in the UFC? Or
not with I think Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva's knocked someone off from his back underneath, but I think the hammer fist that's never happened before. That's not.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's happened since anywhere, to be honest.
No.
Just such power and such short range, and unbelievable skill and great to watch as well. So, yeah, and just to move on because we've got a lot to sort of cover. Yeah. The Chrome Gracie versus Cub Swanson. What a great fight!
It's always good to see Cub Swanson get a win. Always good.
Yeah, I mean he's a great guy, really nice guy, and I didn't expect Gracie to go for a stand-up war.
Oh, it didn't make much sense.
He really just stood and banged, and it was really great to watch. But the amount of body shots that Swanson was landing on him, and he made a funny comment at the end talking about see how those breathing exercises all work when you're getting digged in the belly. It was. I really enjoyed that fight. That was a really nice fight to watch.
One thing I want to ask you about, I'm particularly interested in your opinion personally on this because you obviously do grappling, jiu-jitsu and stuff. How do you feel about the fact that Cub Swanson was rejected access to a number of gyms because he was fighting someone with the Gracie name? What's your opinion on that?
I find it a little bit... Well, it's crap, really. It's like there's no honour in that. You're not... You are the gyms and learning how to do jiu-jitsu, and I just feel like it's supposed to be you all come in to learn an art and to learn a sport and to respect each other and all this kind of stuff. And it's just lucky really that there's the UFC Performance Institute and Cub could go there and have jiu-jitsu coaching there, because I mean it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, it's like respect to a ridiculous level. It's bordering on disrespect at that point towards the other person.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, well, it almost... I just don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me to decline someone based on they might have to grapple against a Gracie. Especially
someone as respected as Cub Swanson. I mean, he's a veteran. I'd say he's a veteran now. He's been around for a while.
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
well respected. So,
yeah, he's a veteran, and he's not only that, he's always been a lovely guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like he's gotten anyone's backs up or anything like that, and I find it a little bit. It's a little bit of a tarnish on those Gracie affiliated gyms in the local area.
I think some of them aren't even Gracie affiliated. I think it's just the fact that they were fighting that's basically the grandfathers, they're the gods of that world. So I do think some of them are affiliated. I think it's just out of the level of respect they have for that family that they didn't want to
do they not
compete?
You got international jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff. Surely they don't kick out their fighters in case they get drawn against someone who's a Gracie in that IBJJF kind of competition, or BBJF, but yeah, it's no BJJF. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't think it's showing respect to Cub. I also don't think it shows too much respect to Crone as well, to be honest. It's like if you are worried that you'll be able to train Cub up enough to beat a Gracie, almost.
Yeah.
It's like it's also not necessarily that that maybe it isn't to do with that, and they just don't want to be associated with someone who might beat a Gracie. And maybe they're worried that their gym will be seen as lesser because they helped a fighter beat a Gracie, but Gracies have always lost.
Yeah.
And it's surely a part of being a martial artist is being humble, and then instead of sulking about losing, you learn from what you learn from the mistakes you made in the fight, and you try and improve and get better. And it just doesn't seem very martial artsy to me. And that's a stupid little describing word I've just made up there, but it kind of gets something across. It doesn't really settle well with me in terms of
the audio went so weird there.
In terms of the honour and the principles of the sport. It doesn't really seem to. It doesn't sit right with me. I just don't like it.
Yeah, understandable. Before we move on to the main event, are you afraid? Yeah. Before we move on to the main event, Mackenzie Dern, she picked up her first loss against Rebus.
Yeah.
That was impressive. It's very impressive. Reba has potential because everyone kind of touted Turn to be like the next big thing, and it's.
I mean, it must be really hard to come back from pregnancy and having a baby and being a young, you've got a young baby now, and I wouldn't read too much into the fact that this, it's a comeback fight that's been lost after such a long time out, and in such a, pregnancy is a hard thing for your body to go through. So to come back so soon afterwards, is a great accomplishment in itself, and then, to lose in a split decision against someone like Ribas, who's quite, she showed great potential. I don't think there's any shame in it. So I don't think it's the end of Dern. I mean, she's obviously one of the best female jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. Yeah. And, I'm sure she'll get back to winning ways before too long. She's back in full camps and she'll be able to train every day and all that now that the pregnancy's over and the baby's getting older. So yeah, I think two good prospects really, both of them have got good futures, I think. Definitely.
Make a rematch further in the line after a few fights.
Yeah.
Well, onto the main event. We kind of went a funny order, but onto the main event, we saw Joanna back looking very, very good.
Yeah, I guess I was underwhelmed by the fight in general. Not to disrespect Michelle Waterson, but I kind of thought it would have been more impressive, I suppose, for JJ to finish her. But she was tough, and she was well-bloodied and everything, but I thought it was fine. It was okay. As a performance, It was an easy win. The decision was an easy decision. I mean, not to say it was an easy fight for JJ, but yeah, it was fine. She's back to normal, I suppose. But this is against someone who is maybe not quite at the same level as the people who are holding the belts or challenging for the belts.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those people who is really, really good, but just not quite good enough to make the very top.
No, if she was really a title contender in the UFC. She still could be. She's obviously a very talented martial artist, and she's got some great kicks. But yeah, we'll see. She doesn't seem to me to be much of a killer, if you know what I mean. If you put her up against, Zhang, and she'd get murdered.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Well, okay, we need to kind of move on quite quick. There's a lot to get through, but I've pledged to myself that I need to start watching. I need to start watching more Rising. I mean, wow, I'm doing myself a great injustice by not watching it.
If you can put up with the intermissions, I mean, the product that they've got there is just incredible. I mean, I absolutely, my 2019 has continued to be terrible. I picked Satoshi D'Souza to win the whole thing, got knocked out in the first round, which is annoying, but I mean, he's got potential. He's only young. He's a very good fighter. But that whole GP is fire. I mean, the flying knee knockout from Pitbull. And I mean, just so many finishes in that promotion.
One thing, see the belt, is that huge, or is Demetrius Johnson just really small?
Well, he weighs 125. Well, he is 135 pounds, but that's one, not Rising.
Shit.
Yeah.
See, I keep doing these things. I keep I done it in Eric Anders. I done it with Sam tonight. My mind goes too fast. Well, my mouth goes too fast. My mind, and I blot stuff out. It makes me look quite daft. I'm like, was there pressure on the Ultimate Fighter to get back to the UFC? Like things like that. Like I make these daft comments, and then straight away I'm like, oh, why did I say that?
Yeah, well, we all fuck up sometimes.
Still getting used to the podcast game. I mean, we're getting there, but
when you.
Yeah.
So we had. There were knockouts just all over the place.
Yes.
Hamdalay knocked out Miyu Yamamoto. She's a beast. I love Hamdalay. She had a bad run at the end of her UFC. Or basically, her whole UFC career was a bit of a bad run. But she's super good in general. We had Kaya Sakura coming back only 2 months or so after knocking out Kyoji and getting another first round knockout. And obviously, the main event was a bit of a a nothingness in a way, because he's, Prohaska's the one that's got a belt, so he's going to be the main event. But he didn't take any time dispatching Maldonado either. So yeah, really good promotion to watch if you want to see people getting finished.
And so it's basically the kind of the second coming of Pride.
It's the same man. Nobuhiko Sakakibara. It's the same man who ran Pride.
Well, I could never have said that, so points to you.
He also runs Rising, so yeah, Pride never die. And
Clearly.
Also one championship. Probably one of the. I mean, I didn't like the way they set it up in the two different cards. I thought they could have done one incredible card, but over the course of the two events, it didn't disappoint really. Everyone loves DJ. He's the GP champion, and he'll be fighting for the flyweight belt in his next fight early next year. Christian Lee came into the final as an injury replacement and won the lightweight GP belt. He's
impressive.
Lightweight.
He's very impressive.
Yeah, he's the lightweight champion as well. So obviously there's no unification fight there. Shinya Aoki, one of my all-time favourites, got his 29th or 30th submission win with a first-round DARS against former champion in one. And it's just really good stuff. Aung Lan Sang knocked out Brandon Vera in the second round. He's like a tank. He just goes forward and forward and forward, and just he landed a horrible spinning elbow to the side of Vera's head, and it was just not a nice thing to watch, because it was such an impactful elbow. And from then on, I mean, it was already going the way of Vera getting knocked out before then, but that was like the death knell, as it were. And Angela Lee avenging her defeat from the first Japan card back in March to Jiang Nin, and with a submission win in the last round after those two, when they fight each other, it's so back and forth and really entertaining. It's like a perfect match of styles. They just make great fights together, it seems. And we've been promised a trilogy fight between those two. I don't know which weight that's going to be at, because one of them is the champion of atom weight and one of them is the champion of straw weight. So whichever one that's going to be. Yep. Really good. We haven't even mentioned Cage Warriors.
No,
which was kind of minor this week, and no offence to Cage Warriors, as we are UK supporting, at least the UK promotion. Really good event in Cardiff. What else have we had? We had Bellator. I don't even know what happened to Bellator. There's been so many things.
All I know about Bellator is that Carvalho lost.
I just can't get over this nonsense splitting of the TV and tape delay and all that kind of stuff.
Get it. They're making it hard for people to watch They're making it hard for people to figure out how to watch the cards. It's nonsensical.
Nemkov submitted Carvalho, and Manherf destroyed Bahati in the main event, or the main event of Bellator Milan. Carvalho versus Nemkov was the main event of Bellator 230, which happened simultaneously. You need, we should try and resurrect Stephen Hawkins so he can make some sense of it all. It's absolutely jam-packed weekend, full of action, full of knockouts, full of, we look back at times, and I think this is going to be one of those weekends that really stands out as there was just so much happened. Yeah. We also had in news, we had the confirmation that Kyoji Horiguchi, back to Rising, is going to be defending his title next time he fights against Kaya Sakura. Because for some reason it wasn't a title fight the first time they fought, even though he's the Rising champion. He wasn't defending his belt in that fight, even though it was at bantamweight. But it will be for the belt. It will be for the belt on New Year's Eve. So he's going to have to book his ideas up quick, because Asakura he's a beast. He's really jumped on the scene in the last sort of 12, 18 months, and it looks like he might be something else. Be interesting to see if he ends up over in UFC at some point.
Oh, one of the big UFC stories was the withdrawal of Ponzinibbio from his fight with Lawler. So Mike Perry's put himself into the mix, said he wants that fight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
That'd be a great fight. I mean, that can only go one way. That's going to be fireworks.
Well, you'd hope so. I guess it kind of leaves, I don't know, maybe unfortunately it kind of leaves open that the replay of the second attempt at the second fight between Woodley and Lawler, now that Woodley's got no opponent yet and Lawler's become free. I think Woodley's not injured anymore. So it could be what they look for first of all, I don't know. But
I wanted to see that fight. When I got announced, I was quite excited by that.
Yeah, they're two top class athletes, aren't they? Both of them, they are. It's like you always get excited when you have two big names, so people who've held the belt before, and it's I mean, two legends of the sport. They'll go down as when all is said and done, I suppose. So it would be good to see. But yeah, I mean, I always get baffled every time a fighter is out from staff. I just wash.
Just wash.
Just wash, Santiago. It's like I just wash. It's basically just being dirty, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. But it's like you get sweaty, you get scratched. Just if you get a scratch, sometimes I guess you might not even notice, whatever. But just disinfect, alcohol gel, all that kind of stuff. Just it doesn't seem like they do enough to stop it. It just happens so often. People missing big fights through something preventable like that.
It's okay if Lee had a massive staff kind of mark on his chest and he fought Ferguson.
Yeah, it's like I wonder about Tony. Is he all right with that?
Yeah, cause you must see that as a competitor. I think they want to be touching that.
Yeah, and when who it was? I think it was Gastelum before the Adesanya fight. Did he turn up? He had one on his lip or something.
Yeah, everyone was saying it was like ringworm. Everyone said it.
Yeah, yeah, but
nice.
It's not nice. I mean, I've seen locally there was a guy who's a respected kickboxing coach. He's very good, but he got a staph infection in his knee, I think it was, and he didn't get it sorted, and it started eating away at his parts, as his body, and you could to see the hole in his leg. It just
that's horrendous.
You just wash.
Yeah. Wash. That's Matt's tip of the day. Just
just try your best. Keep your nails short.
Have a bath.
And have a bath, yeah. Just bathe in alcohol gel. But yeah, it's just I mean, I'm sure I know he didn't get it on purpose, and it's not. I don't mean to offend anybody by saying it, but it is such a preventable thing, and it's always going to happen now and again. And maybe that is the case this time, but who was in? Was it not Santiago that was in? No, it wasn't. Or was it? Was it Santiago that was in hospital after his last fight with staff?
Okay, I can't remember. I'm not sure.
I think someone fought in UFC Chile, was it? And he was in hospital for a couple of weeks after the fight with staff.
I don't know. I can't tell you.
Okay, well, if it was Santiago, then you haven't learned your lesson.
And doesn't have a bath.
And if it wasn't Santiago, then I apologise profusely.
Well, there's two more biggish stories that I'd kind of like to mention before we kind of wrap it up. The first one of which, the kind of smaller of the two, is that Cody Garbrandt wishes to return in March, so he'll be coming back quite soon. That's exciting.
Yeah. No, I agree. When he was at his best, when he was the champ, he was electrifying to watch, wasn't he? So hopefully he can get back to those ways. If he takes a boost, even if it's not true, if he takes a boost from the fact that, or from the idea that TJ only beat him because he was drugged up, then hopefully he can get back to that kind of entertaining. I think his style is always likely to get himself knocked out at some point. I don't worry too much about the fact that he's been knocked out a few times in a row. I think just
it's got to just kind of screw in that a little bit. It's as soon as he gets hit with a clean shot, it's like he sees red and just wants to start swinging. He's got to just kind of get that out of his system.
He needs to. I mean, he's got the cash. He should probably try and get some sports psychologist or something. Just try and temper his emotions when he's inside. But part of his good point is the emotion and when he starts taking the mick and all that kind of stuff. He's really entertaining. And did he say he had any opponents in mind, or is it just that's when he wants to come back?
He might have said it further on in the interview. I kind of just had a little skim. He's currently sitting. I didn't realise he was so low down. He's currently sitting ranked 9 in the bantamweight rankings.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time since he fought now, hasn't it?
Who do you even put him against then? Faber? Oh, he's his coach. Have they too?
Yeah, I don't think the alpha males are going to be against each other.
I reckon Thomas Almeida, maybe. He's ranked 15 currently. That could be.
They know that they have a possible star.
So they're going to want to rebuild him.
Yeah. So I mean, he's far down. I mean, if he gets back to that belt, the people he's going to have to beat. He's going to have to beat Jan. He's going to have to beat Sterling. He's going to have to beat Cejudo. He's going to have to beat Moraes.
Yeah.
It's a crazy division when you look at it.
Potentially Cruz when he returns.
I guess you might have someone like Jimmy Rivera or maybe even Corey Sandhagen is too far above him at the minute. But yeah, I'd like to see him against Jimmy Rivera. I think that'd be a good fight. A couple of stand-up guys, and yeah.
Well, the other big story of the kind of week, possibly the main one of the week, is the fact that what is it, Malky Kawa and Ali Abdelaziz kind of got on.
Okay, yeah.
PFL. That's an interesting one. Kawa claims that he soccer kicked Ali in the head. And it's all about hearsay at the moment. There's a video or two circulating.
Is that what he said? He said, "I did this."
He did.
Basically, like an admission of serious assault.
If you bear with me, I'll bring it up on Twitter right now.
It's all silly, isn't it? It's like, is Malky with Tony Ferguson? Is that the point? Is that what this has happened?
I'm not sure. Wait, is Ferguson not his paradigm management? I know Malky Kawa's first round management. I'm trying to find. Was it Malky? Who's the other one? Abraham Kawa?
Yeah, Ibrahim, or he's like, his Twitter handle is Ibrahim, and his name on the Twitter thing is Abraham. So
yeah, that always confuses me. It might have been him.
Malky's the older one. I think it is. Having a quick look, I think it is Abraham who was having the fight.
Yes.
And he was with Anthony Pettis, was it?
Yeah.
And Pettis was getting a bit involved as well. So I don't really know what's going on. I threw a kick. I soccer kicked him in the head.
Yeah, that's the tweet I was referring to. It's quite simple, simply put. It says like he caught a kick and the Ali went down, and then he soccer kicked him in the head.
They have the Cowards have John Jones, Tyron Woodley, Masvidal, and Pettis, and some others. But it seems funny that he would argue with him like that. Maybe he's trying to set up some fight. I don't know who. It might be one of the welterweights, because you've got Masvidal and obviously in dominance you've got Usman.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to do with that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It's just handbags, isn't it? You know, it's not.
I wish. Why is no one filming? In the age of everyone filming fights, how do we not have one good video of it? I will say on that event, PFL, another British shout out will Brendan Loughnane won in pretty easy fashion his PFL debut, and he moves into the playoffs. I think. Could be a nice $1 million coming his way soon, hopefully.
Yeah, he looks like the standout in that division, to be fair. He's good, yeah. So was there anything else you wanted to cover before I go and have my pizza?
Well, I've just seen via Ariel Helwani on Twitter that John Moraga, the former UFC fighter, also made his boxing debut last night. He also won by a second round knockout, similar to Leo, so that's a nice little fact.
Oh, you've just reminded me of something actually, with Tyron Woodley saying he'd like to fight Canelo in boxing.
Yes, that's a.
And I'm just like, what are you saying, Tyron? It's like, you might land a shot on him if he's got both of his hands behind his back.
There goes the Woodley interview. Thanks.
It's like, you are talking about one of the greatest boxers of the generation, and you're thinking, if I can catch him, I'll knock him out. But yeah,
that was the kind of whole narrative to McGregor Mayweather, which I bought into wholeheartedly.
But it's like, it's such a different skill. I mean, Canelo spends all of his days, every day, training how to punch and not get punched.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, MMA is so much more involved in terms of the variety of skills you have to learn. It's like Ben Askren, everyone, he's getting a rough time at the minute after his knockout, but he's got to 19-0 without really being a very good striker at all.
Yeah,
in
that's
MMA.
true. That is true.
And it's like you've got, people trying to basically make a headline saying that they could take out a boxer when you're an MMA fighter. It's a little bit disrespectful to the boxers, even though I am an MMA person. But you've had it a bunch of times. Obviously, you had the Mayweather thing, which is all about money. No one ever really thought. Conor McGregor didn't think he was going to beat Floyd Mayweather. And then you have Ngannou talking about fighting against Deontay Wilder. And, maybe that one would be
Yeah, I was going to say, Ngannou does have a boxing background anyway, so I mean...
Yeah, that one's a little bit more realistic in terms of, Ngannou is a boxer in the ring, in the octagon he's a boxer.
And there was talk also of Stipe and Anthony Joshua a while back. That was also a thing, kind of at the same time as McGregor Mayweather. That was one that was kind of circulating a little bit.
Oh dear. But, whatever they can do to get their names in the papers, I suppose. But yeah. You just reminded me when you were talking about the MMA doing boxing there. But cool. Shall we wrap it up? And we're getting into a bit of a longer territory now. We're over an hour.
Yeah, we're getting. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Massive thanks again to Sam Alvey. That was up there with my favourite interviews we've done so far. Hopefully get him on again. I'm sure we're more than happy to. He seems to be kind of up for anything, so that's a great quality about him.
Maybe even however it goes, maybe we can get him on for 10 minutes, 15 minutes and talk about his experience and see how it went for him. And it'd be great to get him back, and whatever, come what may. You'll always be, front page will always be a fan of Sam for such a great interview and, really honest answers and such a genuine guy.
Yeah, we can't. Next time we need to be a shorter one. We can't get him on and ask the same like, "Oh, how did your career start?" Blah blah blah.
No.
2 weeks later, like, "Oh, so how did your career start, Sam?"
We will just, if he agrees, we'll get him on and we can just talk about that UFC Sao Paulo experience.
See, to be honest, like I said to him, like, we'll get you on after you win, but win or loss, I'd love to get him back on, just chat about his experience in Brazil, like you say. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there. So thanks again,
cool.
Matt.
Thanks, Ross. It's been a pleasure. I know hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Next time,
and if anybody,
member, the front page,
who knows? We started off with a third member today, and he's obviously dropped his phone into his picture. But we'll see if he's back on next time.
Well, thank you all for listening. And that'll do us. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.